Hi guys, this is Luetin, and today we're going to be having a look at some Bad Company 1 footage. That's Battlefield Bad Company 1. Now, I'm well aware that many people didn't really actually get to play this game, and I thought I would be showing you the differences between this game and where we are right now. Now, the first thing you'll notice, okay, is that the controls, the movement is kind of sluggish. My sensitivity is at max. This is just how the characters move. You'll also notice that there's pretty much no bullet drop whatsoever, and the recoils of the gun is, again, almost non-existent. So for consoles, which this game is really designed, the controls of these weapons and so on work much easier. Consequently, it kind of makes the gameplay, I don't know, a little bit more enjoyable. You don't have to worry so much about the technicalities, and you can just get on with the game. But another thing to notice is watch how many rounds these guns put on. This isn't the best example right now, but you'll see that you really have to thrash the rounds into the enemies in order to take them out. You see, we took about 30 rounds there before that guy went down. Or no, it was more like 20 rounds to take a guy down. And again, about the same there. Obviously, I wasn't going for the chest or a headshot there, but even so, you know, there was a lot of rounds needed to go down. The shotguns were very slow to fire as well, so shotguns were a good choice, but it was pretty much you had to get 1 or 2 strong hits on target in order to take someone down. I'm picking up, there's obviously no suppression or anything like this, so taking down these other things. Now, a really interesting one, I have to reload here, and you might think, okay, why did you not just change out to your pistol, because you know there's a guy right behind you. A lot of the classes didn't have pistols. You know, it wasn't an option to change to a pistol. You didn't have it. In fact, I think the Recon class was the only class that had a pistol available to it. The others did not have it as part of their default kit. Really interesting thing here, this was for the assault class. You'll see that they've got their own healing implement. So we did have med packs as well, but there was also the sort of stim pack injections, the sort of perhaps morphine injections. You can just literally, as an assault class, stab that into your chest and it will give you some health back again. Really useful for assault, because as they're on the go they can take a bit of damage, stick that in and you're ready to go again. Another kind of interesting one is that on Conquest, which we're playing right here, the bases cap up very quickly. You see it a little bit later. See, again, healing myself, and you can see how quick that heals me right back up. I've changed out here to the M16 just to give an example of a different kind of weapon. You see how the recoil is a lot slower and the damage is a lot more. I was using the full auto AN94 before, I think it was. So the difference in the bullets, but I mean, you know, regardless of the fire rates, but what I'm saying is that you see there's a real strong difference in the weapons. The AN94, extremely high fire rate, but the rounds were taking, you know, 20 rounds. This gun, you can take out an enemy in perhaps between 6 to 10 rounds for a good chest kill. But obviously a headshot all the same. So the M16 is handling these kind of distances, but even then, like you see, still had to crack through the rounds, about 20 rounds there, pretty much on target and still taking it down. And the destructibility of these maps was, you know, considerably lower than it is right now. Some guy trying to knife me there, but in fact actually all my teammates. Okay, now we're in a Humvee. Now this is an interesting one, watch this. I put a few rounds on this vehicle and look at it. Goes down almost straight away. You could even use just your regular weapons. I mean, against a Humvee in Battlefield 3, you can't really do anything unless you're using, you know, engineers or other vehicles to take it down. You definitely couldn't use your own gun or a mounted gun like this really to do any proper kind of damage to it. But in Bad Company 1, you could fire your own machine gun and it would happily work. Now I'm in the medic class here, and you can see this is the old mortar device. The old mortar device, in Bad Company 2 you ended up with like this little kind of, and look, that was such an annoying feature. If someone walks in front of you while you're trying to call this thing in, it would just cancel it, which is very irritating sometimes. But basically, yeah, you can just call in as many mortars as you want. And when you got Bad Company 2, you had a little like kind of you had like a binocular sort of zoomed in scope to call in your mortar strikes. But for Bad Company 1, all you had was that little handheld calling device, which was quite tricky because sometimes when you're trying to have a pinpoint accurate you know, shot, it was very tricky. We can look again at how useful it is, and the fact that you call in multiple mortar rounds. Again, the difference is that with the current system, when you fire a mortar, it'll only fire one round. But with this system, when you would call in a mortar strike, it would call in multiple mortars all onto the same position, and then you have to wait for it to recharge. So you can see here, I'm trying to mark up the vehicle, but he's moving. I want to make sure that I can try and take this vehicle down. And this was a regular thing that used to happen in both the bad companies, was that you call in a mortar strike on a stationary vehicle, and it will really do some damage to it. He's popped his smoke there and potentially jumped out. You can see the mortar damage really racking it up there, and I pick up a mortar kill. Picking up mortar kills though was very hard, I should say, because it's all splash damage. So, if an enemy kind of runs away, unless they get caught right in the middle of it, it's not so easy to take them out. So don't think that you can just get lots of easy kills. Again, noticing that barely any recoil whatsoever there from my machine gun. Tanks, I'm going to be running away, run away, run away. It's very, very difficult for me to explain just how kind of slow turning and clunky and awkward the turning on this feels, but you might have just got an impression there from the way I kind of turned around and tried to move out. That wasn't me sucking at the controls, it was genuinely, that's how awkward it is to kind of move around. You're very, very slow to turn, even though I've got the sensitivity up on max pretty much. But you're very, very limited in terms of weapons that you can choose. You literally only get, I think, about 4 or 5 choices per kit, and the kit is extremely specified, so you don't have many choices. If you want to, you can look that up, break it down. Again, calling in the mortar targets. The one thing the kind of multiple mortar rounds landing like this is useful for is that you don't have to worry about sitting somewhere, calling it in. You can literally call in a mortar strike and then move on. So it was actually a very useful tool, because if you know there's some enemy in some area but you're trying to watch some other things, you can call in a mortar strike. Like, okay, so what I did was I put a mortar strike on that position, then you start moving and thinking about doing other things. So it was actually a really, really good piece of kit. The medpack thing was kind of weird though, because you can hold a medpack, it heals you up almost instantly. So as a support class, if you've got, or a medic even, if you've got a medical kit and you take a bit of damage, just hold it, you instantly heal as you're running, you pop it away, so you can almost continually heal yourself straight away. It's a really kind of unusual tool. Like, I mean literally on the run, if you're going between a base, you could just hold the medic kit and it will start to heal you. I'm taking a lot of fire here. They obviously see me from a distance. As well, I should say, there is no kind of active spotting. It's all kind of like when you start, like if you shoot at a vehicle or if you're aiming towards a vehicle, it will auto mark. You don't have any control over if it gets marked or not. So that sometimes can be a bit of a hit and miss thing, but it basically will auto mark a target. Kind of wonder whether Battlefield for its core mode should have that system. I think people would not approve of that. I definitely probably wouldn't. However, the fact that people don't mark very much, it kind of is an interesting one. People have potentially asked, should we have some kind of attachment which auto spots for you, or perhaps it's kind of like a passive thing that unlocks as you get on later in the game. I don't know, but spotting anyway, it's an important thing to do, and in Bad Company 1 you didn't have to actively do it, it would spot for you. So this has been my short little overview really. I just wanted to show a bit of Bad Company 1 gameplay. Be interested to just hear perhaps what some people who never played it thought of just this little overview. Perhaps, do you think any of the things you've seen work a little bit better? Do you think they will look worse? I would just like to say I'm not in hardcore mode, but notice I just ran over my guy. This was another thing. In Bad Company 1 in core, you could easily damage your own teammates. You could drive over them, you could kill them, you could mortar them, etc, etc. So yeah, you had to be a bit more careful about what you were doing in game. I would point out that my gunner was just a random gunner. He wasn't so on the ball, but I was getting used to the controls of this game as well. I didn't do a particularly good job of driving my tank right here. I do pick up a kill, but this is their last base, or they're entrenched in this base, and so I'm going to deal with quite a few things right here. Getting used to the controls, getting used to the fact there's multiple people all around me, and didn't really go too well right at the end here. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Would be really interested to hear what you guys got to say about this one and what you think about it. Anything you've seen here that you think you'd like to see in the game, or if it makes you appreciate Battlefield 3 a little bit more. Thanks for watching.
Снайпер!